Entitled sister lets a kid into my spider dungeon, then blames me when he gets bitten. I've been collecting spiders for years, and my sister knew this when she decided to stay over while I was out of town. She also knew not to let anybody in the basement where I keep my cuddly arachnid friends. But she let her boyfriend's son in anyway, and he got bitten by a very poisonous spider. Now she's threatening to sue if I don't pay his medical bills. I am a collector of spiders and snakes, even a few that are venomous. This is more like a passion of mine. My entire basement has been converted to house my babies. I had to go out of town for work. While out of town, my sister's lights went out due to a storm, so she called and asked if she and her children could stay for a few days. No problem with this. My sister and my family are aware of what I'm into, and this isn't their first time staying in my home without me being there. I had faith in my sister that nothing would go on. It never has before, so I had no reason to doubt her. But I did run it past her to grab my lock out of my office and lock the basement down for me. She assured me she would. Not even 48 hours later, I get a frantic call from my 17-year-old nephew about Dylan being bitten by my brown recluse spider. First off, I don't know what the heck a Dylan is. I can hear upset voices in the background, one of them being my sister. My nephew asked if the spider was venomous. I told him yes, and that they needed to get him to a hospital immediately. At this point, I'm agitated. I ended up having to cut my work short and get back home. By this time, this young 15-year-old man had been in the hospital for a couple of days. I learn he's the son of the guy my sister has been dating for the past few months. First, she was supposed to have put the lock on the dang door. Second, she knows no strangers are allowed in my home. Third, she's the jerk who not only led them down into the basement, but she left this Dylan kid, his friend, and 3 of Dylan's siblings down in the basement unsupervised. I have cameras, so it infuriated me watching my nephew profusely tell this Dylan kid and his friend to stop banging on the glass enclosures and sticking their fingers inside of them. He even tried to tell my sister, and though she warned them to stop, she left them alone once again. Nephew even tried to make them leave, and my sister told him it was all right. I don't know if she was trying to impress this guy or what, but her behavior has been truly shocking. Even more so when she called telling me that I needed to pay for this kid's bills. I told her that because of her negligence and stupidity, this was on her. I then said a few other mean things because I was beyond irritated about this. I've always prided myself on maintaining a safe and stress-free environment for my animals. Well, she went crying to our parents. They agree with me, but they are also giving her a pass, saying she doesn't have the money to pay the kids' bills. But since I do, they feel that I should help out of the kindness of my heart. I flat out refused. Now I'm being threatened with a lawsuit. Am I the jerk? Well, it seems a little disingenuous to ask if you're the jerk when you already said that your sister was the jerk earlier. Seems like this original poster has his mind made up, so he doesn't need any help reaching a verdict. I don't know if his sister is really trying to impress her boyfriend, but it does sound like she lets the guy's kid walk all over her. And Dylan's definitely the real jerk for banging on the glass. Has he never been to a zoo before? That's literally one of the first things they teach you. The sister shouldn't get a free pass just because she's broke. If anything, that's even more reason for her to be looking out for any kids under her care. She knows she can't afford medical bills, so she should be doing whatever she can to keep them from racking up in the first place. Maybe she and her boyfriend should have a talk about his dumpster fire of a son before he gets himself into any more trouble. A brown recluse is nothing to mess with, and if they can't afford his medical bills, they probably can't afford his funeral either. Insane girlfriend puts her life in danger because she's mad about a taco. So this is a very, very current situation. I'm sitting outside our outdoor mall while my girlfriend has herself locked inside my car with the doors locked. It's 105 degrees, and she refuses to let me even give her the keys to start the car. It's been that kind of day. My girlfriend and I had planned a day of hanging out, shopping, drinking, and just sort of relaxing after we hadn't seen each other for almost 2 weeks. I could just tell she was feeling crabby from the time I picked her up, and the day did not go well. I tried my best to be supportive, but she just wasn't having it. So I was like, forget it. I'll just back off and let her go through whatever it is that cheesed her off. We went to eat at a Mexican food place in the outdoor mall we were shopping at. I was a little bit taken aback when she ordered shrimp tacos because she hates seafood. But I know for a fact I heard her order shrimp. Because of the way the day had gone, I decided that if she wants shrimp, it's not my place to remind her that she loathes seafood. The food came and she absolutely laid into the server. The server had been super cute and friendly, and even while my girlfriend was treating her like garbage, she still remained calm and professional. When my girlfriend said that she should quit her job and become homeless like the rest of the losers, I had to speak up. I said, "Christina, I heard you order shrimp tacos. I'm sorry, but I did." Well, I had basically dropped a nuclear bomb on the situation, and she ran out of the restaurant. I tried to catch up with her, and she basically told me that maybe she did order shrimp tacos, but it's my job as her boyfriend to always back her up. She asked me to unlock my car, so I did. I then gave her the keys and went back to apologize to the restaurant and pay our bill. In the meantime, she had basically sent me a novel over text about what a jerk I am, and how I'm not fit to be a boyfriend to a lizard, much less her. I went back to find her sweating her backside off in my car. So I tried to start it, and she took the keys and threw them across the parking lot. Now every time I try to unlock the door, she locks it again and threatens to call the popo on me. I'm stuck here, so maybe to smooth this over and keep me busy while the situation shakes out, I guess I'll ask, was I the jerk? Yeah, probably. Hear me out on this one. Obviously, I'm supposed to say the crazy girlfriend is the jerk. What kind of person forgets they hate shrimp? Who in their right mind locks themselves in someone else's car, then threatens to call the police on the car's owner? The kind of person that doesn't exist, most likely. But let's assume she does. I think there's more going on here than a shrimp taco. This OP goes out of his way to tell us that the server was cute. Even though the girlfriend was already in a bad mood, I can't imagine it helped if she caught on that her boyfriend was attracted to their server. Also, he had no questions about the taco when she ordered it. He didn't want to ask why she was ordering something he thought she didn't like. He stayed totally silent. But when his $2.50 an hour taco goddess was in trouble, he brought it up right away. Naturally, Reddit hates people who are mean to servers, so they don't care if the girlfriend passes away from heat stroke while she's locked in the car. But if she's not a figment of OP's imagination, then she's a person with feelings, and it can't be great to have a boyfriend who puts the waitress's feelings ahead of yours. It doesn't honestly sound like either one of them is happy in this relationship. The fact they're together at all is a mystery I don't think I want to investigate. Entitled niece mocks my fertility struggles, but then wants me to pay for her college. My wife and I struggled with infertility for years. We are still trying more options, but we're beginning to lose hope. I have a 16-year-old niece that's like a daughter and a friend to me. Considering I'm doing well financially, I've decided to take care of her education and start a college fund so she could attend a college of her choice. My brother and his wife, my niece's stepmom, are of course aware of that, and they appreciate it very much. They always talk about what a generous, loving uncle I am, unlike my younger brother. I've been dealing with a series of unusual, unexplainable events, like receiving texts at work pretending to be my wife, informing me of some big news, like her being pregnant, or finding mysterious envelopes in my car when I'm at my parents' place, and the envelopes contained letters from someone pretending to be my wife, again telling me she was pregnant. My wife and I had no idea who's been playing us like that. We knew it was someone close, and we had many people on our list of suspects, including my brother-in-law. Last week I was visiting my brother's house, and my car was parked in their driveway. I was sitting with my brother and sister-in-law, but my niece left for a few minutes and then returned. I finished my coffee and said goodbye, then left. As I was approaching my car, I noticed a sign on the windshield. I took a look, and the sign read, "I'm pregnant," in large writing. I was confused because I knew no one from this neighborhood and suspected someone who knew me did it. I called my wife, and she again said this was fake news. I took the sign and went back to my brother's house to ask for help figuring this out. He said someone must have left it on the wrong car, but I explained that things like this have happened before. He just shrugged, but my sister-in-law pointed at the sign and said the writing looked similar to my niece's writing style. My brother told her to stop, but I called my niece to come downstairs and asked her. She denied at first, but got nervous and admitted to leaving the sign on my windshield, as well as sending texts and leaving letters pretending to be my wife. But she didn't have ill intent. She just did it for laughs. I blew up, telling her she was out of line to think mocking my and my wife's suffering and playing us for months was funny. I said I was mad, I was disappointed, and I won't ever be able to look at her the same way. I informed her, my brother, and my sister-in-law that I would officially cancel the college fund I started for her, due to her cruelty and disrespect for us. She broke down, saying she meant no harm or disrespect, and was just messing with and teasing me. My brother said I can't actually make this decision based on a small mistake my niece made. He said this is her future that I was giving up on, and my decision will have a lasting impact. I cut the conversation and left after he tried to talk me out of giving her this harsh punishment. But to me, this was no punishment, just a realization that she didn't deserve my hard-earned money. My brother said I exaggerated. Am I the jerk for canceling my niece's college fund upon discovering what she's been doing to me and my wife for months? You're not the jerk, but it's a real shame that girl won't be going to a good school. Using a fake number shows real dedication. Just imagine how far she could go if she applied that mentality to her schoolwork. I'm actually really curious who all was on OP's list of suspects. How has this man made multiple enemies who would plausibly call him from a fake number and break into his car to leave letters? All just to mock one of the most emotionally difficult problems he and his wife have ever faced together. Is this niece a supervillain? And again, what kind of expert villainy would this girl get up to with a STEM degree? On a serious note, this is a terrible thing to do to someone, regardless of whether they're paying your college fund. But if someone's helping you out financially, you do owe them a greater debt of gratitude. Pranking them and making fun of their misery for months definitely isn't the way to show that. I'd say I hope she learns from this experience, but I'm honestly not sure any sane person should need to face consequences in order to learn how horrible this is. I don't know if this girl's as big a train wreck as Dylan or Taco Girl, but she at least comes pretty close. Daughter says I traumatized her and gave her mental health issues for wanting to see her grades. My 20-year-old daughter and I have a very shaky relationship, and I believe it's mostly due to a traumatic brain injury she had when she was 12. My daughter Jane has always been a very emotional person. She cries over the littlest things and always wears her emotions on her sleeve. As a little girl, she was a great kid otherwise, and I think her fear of getting in trouble strongly encouraged her to follow the rules and always be respectful. However, when she was 12, she fell and had a serious head injury. Following her injury, she had to have a handful of cognitive tests done, which resulted in her being diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. Granted, we had not had her tested for any kind of mental illness prior to the injury, but I firmly believe that the fall caused these problems. Anyway, the doctor suggested we sign Jane up for therapy, after which she started being very rude to me, not letting me go through her phone, not sharing her location with me, and not even giving me her gradebook login information so I could view her grades. When I asked her why she was being so distant and cold towards me, she said she was trying to establish some boundaries. Boundaries with her mother at 12 years old. We had a fight and it ended with her saying that when she turns 18, she'll be cutting contact with me completely. Fast forward a few years, Jane is 16, and she ends up being admitted to a mental hospital for this ongoing depression issue. This was incredibly hard on me, because while she's in the hospital, my then-husband asked for a divorce, saying that I'm not being a good mother or spouse, and once again basically blaming me for Jane's mental illnesses. I try to be as gentle as possible when Jane gets home, and we have to break the news to her and my son. But the discussion quickly breaks out into a big fight when we start talking about the custody schedule. Both of my kids say they don't want any time with me at all. So not only did she start acting like a total brat to me after the accident, but she had her brother conspiring against me too. Fast forward again. On her 18th birthday, I wake up and she and all of her belongings are gone. I tried getting a hold of her, but I couldn't. I end up having to show up at her school band practice to get her to talk to me. To sum it up, she tells me that she's cutting contact with me because I've caused her trauma and mental health problems. But I told her that it wasn't me. It was that head injury and that therapist. She then threatened to call the cops on me if I didn't leave. To this day, Jane's contact with me is very limited, even though I've tried apologizing and sending her gifts and money. I feel like she's blowing things way out of proportion, and that I'm not actually in the wrong. Am I the jerk? It feels like there's way too much missing info here to answer that question. Why did the brother opt out of custody? Are these phone boundaries really the only reason Jane gave for leaving? If so, then I'm going to disagree with Reddit and say that OP isn't the jerk. With the way she just casually mentions going through her daughter's phone, I actually think she might be a troll. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. Plenty of parents have plans that allow them to see their kids' texts. They're upfront about the fact that they're doing it, and that it's partly for the child's safety. A 12-year-old does not get to run the show. If OP decided not to, she wouldn't have to pay for Jane to have a phone at all. You know what it actually sounds like? It sounds like Jane spends too much time on Reddit. It sounds like she's constantly seeing posts where children threaten to go no contact with their parents when they turn 18, always for doing things that aren't uncommon for parents to do. And in every one of those posts, the parents somehow gave the kid mental health issues. How? Beats me. The kid usually doesn't know either. But it happened, and anyone who disagrees is just gaslighting. This isn't hard to understand. If you live in somebody else's house and let them pay for your food, you're not independent. Wanting to set some sort of boundaries is okay. But a parent wanting to monitor your safety, and especially wanting to see your grades, is not only okay, but expected. Kids who fail to see this are not traumatized. They're entitled. But maybe there's more going on here. Why do you think Jane cut contact? And more importantly, who do you think is the jerk in this situation? Leave us a comment and let us know who you think is in the wrong and why. Click on one of the videos you see on the screen now, or a Karen will sue you.